The clock ticked. 2:13 a.m. Emma sat alone, bathed in the pale glow of the television. Each flicker of light seemed to deepen the shadows in her small apartment. Silence, heavy and absolute, pressed in around her. She shivered, pulling a throw blanket tighter around her shoulders. An owl hooted outside, the sound muffled by the heavy curtains drawn across the windows. Emma's gaze darted towards the window, then to the darkened hallway beyond the living room. She tried to shake off the unease that had been clinging to her all night. Living alone had its downsides. The city outside was quiet, unusual for a Friday night. No sirens, no distant laughter, no rumble of engines, only the ticking of the clock and the beating of her own heart, a frantic rhythm against her ribs. A noise, barely audible, cut through the silence. Emma froze, her breath catching in her throat. She strained to hear, every sense on high alert. There it was again, a creak, slow, deliberate, coming from the front door. Her heart pounded against her ribs, a frantic drumbeat against her bones. Fear, cold and sharp, shot through her veins. She knew that sound, the distinct groan of the old hinges. Someone was opening her front door. Emma rose from the couch, her muscles tense and trembling. She moved like a ghost, her bare feet making no sound against the hardwood floor. The air grew heavy, thick with anticipation and dread. Reaching the entrance to the living room, she peered cautiously around the corner. Her heart hammered in her chest. The front door stood ajar, casting a sinister rectangle of darkness into the hallway. The lock was untouched. Her mind raced, desperately searching for an explanation. Had she forgotten to lock it? Impossible. She always double-checked, always. A cold draft seeped in from the open doorway, sending a shiver down her spine. Taking a shaky breath, Emma forced herself to move forward. She had to see, had to know. Each step was an act of defiance against the fear that threatened to consume her. The living room lay in darkness, the only light spilling in from the street lamp outside. Her gaze darted across the room, settling on a single detail that shattered her last nerve. On the arm of her favourite reading chair, a note sat illuminated by the streetlight. A single sheet of paper, folded in half. Trembling, Emma reached for the note. Her fingers brushed against the paper, cold and thin. She unfolded it slowly, dreading the words she might find. Her name, scrawled in a jagged hand, leaped from the page. A wave of dizziness washed over her. The room seemed to tilt, the walls closing in. We? Who was we? What did they want? Before she could process the implications, a sound from behind her shattered the silence. The front door slammed shut with a deafening boom. A whisper, cold and sharp as shattered glass, pierced the darkness. Right behind you.